Good morning, everyone. This is Johnna Welsh, and I have here in the room, we have Corey Henson. She's driving the presentation, and we have Maricela Vargas. She is our Director of Student Life and Activities, and we have Karen DeWeese. And this morning's WebEx session will be on the steps to refer a student to schedule a campus tour. And we'll let Maricela get started. After her presentation, there will be a short time for, I haven't had my caffeine this morning, I'm really sorry. There will be a question and answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Welsh. My name is Maricela Vargas, like she said, and I'm the Director of Student Life. One of the things that we cover in Student Life are the campus tours. The campus tours are for prospective students or really anybody who wants to get a better idea of the campus and what's going on. But the main purpose is for prospective students. We want to always try to show that we are here to give the best foot forward. It's one of the things that that the administration has really pushed recently has been great customer service and being able to actually improve the way that we do some things. And so we have made some changes in our process to hopefully be able to give any prospective students a better experience and actually help them become actual students in the process. So this is where I just kind of want to go over some of the things that we do. So the purpose of the tour itself is to inform the students, any prospective students, what CTC has to offer. And that is academically and also includes services. Sometimes the students know that we have the degree plan, but that customer service or any kind of service that we might have to offer, it might make the difference. And so even though we do make sure that they are aware of what academically we have to offer and how we show, what degree plans and all the facilities and everything like that, we also want to make sure that they realize that we have a lot of support services available as well. Definitely we want to show the infrastructure. I think some locations more than others show that off, but for example, students that are interested in aviation want to see the airplanes. Students that are interested in nursing want to see the labs. If they are in automotive, they want to see the automotive bay, etc. Or even if they're in computer, they're interested in computers, they want to see what we have to offer in terms of computer labs and areas where they can learn and practice. So even though right now infrastructure-wise we are not looking our best, definitely the hope is that, and I have seen it little by little, that we're moving to be more of a aesthetically pleasing campus. And that is also a draw for some students. We actually have a very beautiful campus, even though it's a little messed up right now, but eventually, the way that I see things going, it's looking very beautiful, and that can be a selling point to some students. We also have dormitories, for example, as a community college. That is something that not a lot of people find in their community college, and especially with some of the most specialized degree plans that we have, like the aviation, etc. That is something that is a draw because they can stay on campus and still take their classes. So we want to always make sure that the prospective students are aware of what's happening. And last but not least, the thing that I think makes the biggest difference of all is being able to connect with actual faculty, staff, and students. People are what sell this campus. What you do is what makes the difference. So being able to talk to a faculty member within their department or a staff member that can make sure that the process goes smoothly. By having student ambassadors do the tours, which is most of the time what happens, it allows them to meet other students that have either gone through it or are in the process of going through some of the things that they are considering to do. They can ask questions. They can really consider what, if CTC has what they need and ask these tough questions that they may not be willing to ask of a faculty or a staff member. So I feel like the campus tours can really answer a lot of questions for any prospective student and really help them figure out, this is what I want to do. And if nothing else, give them that connection, that human connection that is so necessary to be able to have a successful environment within our community college. Some of the things that I'd like for everybody to keep in mind is that, with the mindset that we are going to be helping these prospective students and hopefully will be actual students, please, if anybody says, oh, I'm interested in, having a tour, please help them sign up for a tour, and I'll go over how to do that in a little bit. But it's really, really helpful if you know how to sign up for a tour and you help them figure it out. One of the things that, again, that's part of that customer service and being able to give them as much as possible. Tours should be scheduled as much as possible in advance, and I'll explain in a little bit why it is so critical for us to know in advance that we're going to have a tour. Now, one of the things that I would really like to stress is that we don't always have the staff to just give a tour at the drop of a hat. And so if you have somebody who is interested in a tour and they're here on campus and, they came from Dallas or Houston or something like that, we will try to accommodate as much as possible within reason. But please, if somebody's thinking about coming on campus and maybe having a tour, and they call, for example, help them sign up for the tour. And that way we can schedule something at a time and a date where we will, for a fact, have somebody available and ready for them. I have had it where people will send them to our area and they'll be like, yeah, they'll give you a tour over there. Well, sometimes, if we can, we will, but I don't always have the staffing for it. So please kind of keep in mind that that's why part of the reason we're doing this WebEx, so that you can know how to do it and hopefully be able to guide most of the students, if possible, through that process. So how to actually sign up for a tour. If you go to the main website under students, and then we have prospective students, you would want to go to and click on more resources. That's going to take you to a page that at the very top, it has campus tours. Just click on that, fairly simple. And then you have options for two different kinds of tours. One of them is individual, the other one is a group tour. I'm going to start with group tours real quick. Group tours are actually for anybody, for example, if you have a Shoemaker High School counselor that wants to bring a student in the whole senior class to the campus. That's where they would go through the campus tour group. We receive the request. The request form looks a little bit different and it requires different information. And we receive it, and then we'll contact we'll actually make contact with the POC and make sure that we tailor the tour to the class needs. And it doesn't, we have people coming from Austin and all over Texas actually, and homeschools, anybody that is a big group, a camp, anything like that, we will accommodate, but that is where you would do that. And the top, where we have the request a campus tour individual, that is if you have a single student from Shoemaker, for example, saying, I want to come check out CTC as part of my college day that they get for, that is allowed. And they want to come and do a tour and really look into depth as to what they can do here on campus. So what they do is they fill out that particular form. So if you have somebody who is interested in just coming in and having an individual tour, that's where you would click on. And I'm going to explain now how to do it. So for individual tours here, if you look, we have some pre-set dates and times. We would prefer, whenever possible, to have the tours at this time, because what I'm doing is I'm having student ambassadors scheduled to be able and ready at these dates and times to give a tour. So I'll have the staffing available during that date and time to be able to have a tour. If it's not in there and they're interested in doing a tour, we can still accommodate it, but it is easier if we have a heads up, at least a week, so that we can make sure that we have the staffing necessary and all the resources available. This is the page that they would go to, and once they click on one of the options, and it asks them for some very basic information, if they're going to be bringing guests or not. And with that, it actually uses Target X, just so that you know, we're using Target X to be able to register, and this is a Target X form. So it will actually look in the system to see if this prospective student has tried to do an admissions form or anything like that, and try to match it with the student based on their email. One of the main things that we want to always try to do is, once we get this, I have somebody in my staff will actually receive the information, we will look at it, and we will contact the student, the prospective student, and try to make sure that we know what degree plan they're interested in, if they have completed or began an application process, or they're ready for advising. And we'll actually go through all of that with the prospective student. The goal is that when the prospective student gets here, we want them to become a student. So to do that, we plan out, okay, so you're interested in nursing, so we will schedule a general tour that will also include nursing. Have you started an application? And we can look that up in Target X. And if we have questions, then I will contact admissions and verify, you know, are they missing any paperwork? Maybe they filled out the application, but they're missing their meningitis shot, their proof of meningitis shot. Then we'll go ahead and say, hey, since you're going to be here, why don't you go ahead and bring that paper? That way you can finish the admissions process. We'll also talk about, okay, now that you know, if that's all you're missing, how about let's get you involved, and you probably need to see an advisor so we can get you into the correct path. Let's help you schedule an appointment with an advisor when you're here on campus. So we'll do that as well, with the hopes that once they're on campus, they can complete as much as we can possibly do within that day, to be able to get them to schedule and complete an application, advising, and hopefully make sure that they know how to finish any testing that they might have to do or anything else, so that they can become a student, a CTC student. We're trying to make it a one-stop shop kind of concept. It doesn't always work, but what we want is that when they come here, they get the most complete experience possible, that they feel like we did everything we could to help them. If they have financial aid questions or need help filling out their FAFSA, we'll make sure they know where financial aid, and take them over there to help them with that as well. We want to make sure that they do as much as possible that day. If they can't, then we'll make sure we have resources, that they leave with the resources necessary, either an email where they can send in whatever is needed, or some point of contact, whether it be just Eagles on Call or a specific person that they need to talk to. We want them to leave here with the resources necessary so that from home they can complete whatever the process is. And that at the end of the day, they have the best experience possible, and think of CTC as the star of any and all community colleges in the area and universities. Now, for those of you that have access to Target X, we actually have here kind of a little bit of a snippet. You can actually see and track, since we track everything through Target X, you can see when a student has signed up for a tour and has attended. So that is something that might be interesting to some of you. If you want to look it up in Target X and be able to see what different processes have occurred with a prospective student or an actual student. And I just give you a little bit of a snippet as to what it looks like in the Lightning version and also in the Classic. You can see there that this prospective student, they tried to sign up for a tour on the 27th. For whatever reason, it got canceled. They couldn't make it that day at 8 o'clock in the morning. So they said, oh, can I come in at 10? And so they did attend the 10 o'clock one, not the 8 o'clock one. So, and you notice there it says attended and confirmed. So that is what it would look like. If you are looking up a student in Target X, you would see that in the event history. And that might be something that might be helpful to you, especially if you're looking up at a potential student and they say, yeah, somebody sent me here or they gave me your information. There's a chance you can look in here and see if maybe they did a tour and that's where they got some of the information, or maybe that's how they saw something, and it might help you understand what the student's telling you. That's pretty much it for me. I don't know if anybody has any questions. My contact information is here in the web page, so I'm just going to open it now for any questions that anybody might have.
Tracy?
All right, everyone is unmuted now. If you guys have any questions, you can speak up or also chat in.
How do you know that when a student attended, is somebody on giving the tour, somebody entering that TargetX after the tour? So okay.
Usually what we'll do, it's really simple in TargetX. We just click on attended. It's just a simple click on it. And then what happens is as soon as that happens, then we'll receive a tour saying, thank you for coming to the tour, and make sure that you have completed these steps, which includes admissions and advising, and so that way if they have any question, like they can't remember, they'll forget some stuff, we have that prompt for them to complete admissions and advising.
Okay. Do you have a specific tour route?
No, we try to tailor it as much as possible based on the needs of the student. Now, there are some things that we try to hit on every single time, but each prospective student has a different interest. So usually the student ambassador will kind of take a few minutes before the tour and just find out what student is interested in, what they want to see, is there something specific that needs to be tailored, and that way they can figure out the route. I will say that with the construction, it's been really interesting because the ambassador will one day be like, yeah, we can go this way, let's go, and no, we can't. Let me figure out how to go around all this. Not so much, now it's a little bit better, but especially when there was a lot of construction going on around our building in 106, that was very challenging, but it's okay. We make it work.
When the students schedule the tour, are they told where to meet?
Yes. Usually we'll meet in the student lounge, and we'll, at worst comes to worst, we'll try to guide them to the Anderson Campus Center, because usually it's a little bit easier for anyone that doesn't know the campus to find than us, especially right now with the construction. One of our parking lots is completely locked, but usually we'll guide them through the Anderson Campus Center.
When it comes to individual students bringing like family or friends or other prospective students, how does that work? Is that a group or?
No, that would still be considered an individual. So if you have just one person and they want to bring their family, that can you pull up the page or go back a few? One more. Right there. If you notice on that page on the bottom, it says number of guests. So you can have one student and maybe they want to bring their parents or a spouse or something like that. They just need to add how many people are going to be part of that individual's party. Good question.
About how long is the tour?
It depends again, because we have, usually the general tour takes about an hour, but it also depends on, like aviation, they may have to go to Skylark Field. Or if they're going to nursing or child development, that's going to take longer. We try to keep it in the morning, but that doesn't always necessarily work out. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll do the general tour and take care of that, and then we'll make sure that they are guided to what the next offices are, that they make the contact, that they check in, for example, if they have to do admissions or anything like that, and then they'll, depending on if they're okay past that point, then they'll either say goodbye or they'll stay with them depending on how things work.
Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else?
From Ashley, we have, is the tour on foot all over campus?
Yes, we currently do not have any way of doing it other than on foot. If it's somewhere that is kind of far away, then we'll talk to the prospective students, say, hey, why don't you come with us, you drive yourself there, and we'll meet you up at this location, or you can follow me or something along those lines.
Alrighty, thank you, Ashley. Do we have any more questions before we sign off, guys?
Yeah, we have some great questions, so thank you very, very much. This has been a great opportunity. I'm glad that I was able to share this with you. Thank you to the team for allowing this, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you did not know this much about tours. So thank you, I appreciate it, and have a great day.
Thank you.